didn't pursue it.
Right.
As a leader in an organization, and perhaps in an organization that doesn't have the flexibility or the resources that Google has, how can you encourage your team to treat new initiatives as experiments? And I know you mentioned earlier on you were talking to a company, and if you've got KPIs and rigid job descriptions, you're not going to get there. But how can we encourage people to try, learn, and try again?
Well, I think there are a couple of things. One is make sure, as we said, that they're not overworked and burning out, for sure, because then it won't happen. Another thing is to create a very easy system for ways to introduce ideas for experiments or for new products or services. So don't make it a big, lugubrious, bureaucratic process where you have to write a 150-page business plan before you can, buy a hammer. And some of the very best companies, I would say, or some of the most creative companies, do this in a very light manner, both with experiments and with new product or business ideas. So make it very easy, make it accessible to absolutely everybody, from the janitor to the CEO. If anything's unpredictable, it's where great ideas are going to come from. I mean, again, when I was running tech companies in the US, we had one gigantic engineering problem at one point. And I was so desperate, I shared it with the entire company and just said, if anybody's got any ideas, just tell me. It was basically solved by a woman who was not an engineer at all, but just had a way of thinking about the problem differently. And once she reframed the problem, the engineers could reframe the problem and think, we know how to solve it now. But she could come at it from a different perspective, which liberated their talents. So you want that cross-fertilization. Just because it's an engineering problem doesn't mean it has to stay in engineering. Just because it's a marketing problem doesn't necessarily mean it has to stay in marketing. So the cross-fertilization that companies can have if they use it is hugely important to increasing the creativity within an organization. And yes, as you say, expect to fail often, fail fast, but then do something very important, which again, most companies don't do, which is dig deep into why did it fail. So 3M is brilliant at this. A lot of their stuff, they bring it to market, it doesn't work. They don't just bury it 6 feet deep. They have a really, really deep post-mortem where one of the key questions is, what would have to change in the context for this business to be successful? And one reason they have a reputation for bringing new products to market really fast is because they don't bury them, they watch. And when the context shifts, they think, that thing from a couple of years back, now is the time. Because when you have creative people, they're off sometimes ahead of the market. So they don't throw it out, they don't forget about it. They make sure that they know what to keep looking for. And when they find the moment, they can get it to market faster than anybody ever could if they were starting from scratch.